This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Healthcare professionals can lead their careers with LinkedIn. Discover jobs by specialty, preferred shifts, and even desired salary. From mental health therapists to radiology technicians, it's now faster and easier for healthcare professionals to find the right fit. Learn more at linkedin.com/healthcare. Side effects may include faster job placement, improved work-life balance, and increased career satisfaction.
Disney and Pixar's Elio has a new home. Now streaming on Disney+.
That's amazing!
Critics agree. Elio is fun and full of heart and humor.
These are the lava tunnels.
I am not fireproof!
Just get in my mouth.
It's actually kind of comfy in here.
It is?
It's certified fresh and verified hot.
Ta-da!
Elio's bringing the whole family together on Disney+.
One, two,
2.5,
3!
Disney and Pixar's Elio, now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG.
If you thought goldenly breaded McDonald's chicken couldn't get more golden, think Golder, because new sweet and smoky special edition gold sauce is here. Made for your chicken favorites. At participating McDonald's for a limited time.
Good night, itchy eyes. Good night, sudden sneeze. Good night to your symptoms of allergies. Zysol is the allergy medicine you take before bed. It provides powerful relief while you rest your head. Not just all night, but all the next day. Zysol keeps working, keeping allergies at bay. And without those annoying symptoms disturbing your rest, you can wake up the next morning feeling your absolute best. Remember, be wise all. Take Zysol. At night.
Hello and welcome to episode 265 of the Washed Up Emo podcast. I am Tom Malone from washedupemo.com. Thank you for sticking with us. We have Alex Rose, number 4 of 5. For Minus the Bear, celebrating Menos el Oso 20th anniversary. What's interesting about Alex is he is stepping into an already released album and he's contributing to the live. So there's a lot of really interesting aspects about Alex's experience and really had a great time. The other thing to note is that everybody talks about everybody else. I have them explain someone with one word. So it's great to hear what they think and their thought cycle around Menos as well. So if this is your first one out of 5 or your 4th and you're heading on down in order, great to have you. This is a really special thing that Suicide Squeeze and Minus the Bear were really instrumental. Perfect plan words, to help get this done. I thought it'd be really cool to hear everybody's impact and thoughts about this record. And if you haven't, and if it's already in the past, fantastic. But upcoming, we got the Best Friends Forever Festival on top of their tour that should be really fun for a lot of people to check this out. All right. This is episode 265 of the Washed Up Emo podcast with Alex Rose talking about Menos el Oso 20th anniversary.
Hello.
What's up, Alex?
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in New Mexico and then ran into Corey in high school. And so that was sort of my in when eventually, years later, I moved to Seattle and I had heard their first couple releases and someone was like, this is Corey's new band. I was like, what? This is really, really, really good.
So when you moved, were you doing other bands and like what were you doing when you moved there to Seattle?
Yeah, so grew up in New Mexico, went to school in Florida for audio and music. Back to New Mexico, I started some bands or continued some bands that had formed in high school. And yeah, moved to Seattle just sort of to get a fresh start. I had thought maybe I could continue my audio producing or music producing freelance career. And I wasn't, definitely wasn't planning on any of this.
Wow. What was your idea when you touched down or you crossed the state line or got into the city limits? You know, you saw the sign. What was that? What did you want initially? It
started to feel like most of the bands I was into were just from this area, from the Seattle area. And I was thinking, I'd just like to be a part of this music scene, basically.
That's great. I love that. And
whether it be, and so I wrote Corey on, it was Friendster at that time because it was a long, long time ago. It
hell
was pre
yeah.
MySpace. Um, I wrote him and said, hey, I'm moving to Seattle. If you know any engineers or producers that, might want to speak with me, or if anyone needs assistance or anything like that. And they were recording the beer commercials EP at the time, and he invited me to the studio. And yeah, I got to meet everyone else at that time and witness some of the recordings of that. And yeah, that was cool. And they happened to need a live sound engineer at that time. And I was doing, I think every new place I moved, when I moved back to New Mexico, I was doing live sound just as a way to pay the bills and, use audio. And so I was doing that in Seattle. And they were just at that time, we're like, oh, we're going to take a sound engineer on tour. So that's how I got into the van there.
Wow. And for you to do that, what level was that at that you felt like having a live sound engineer? Was that, because again, it's not like going to an arena where almost things are it's almost like cookie cutter a little bit. So for this, you've got different rooms, different numbers of people, right? All those things. Like, how did you approach that?
Yeah, it was definitely one of those things where you don't really know what you're going to get until you roll up. Whether this room's going to have working this or that, or what this if it's going to be powered enough to play to that many people. Some shows sounded better than others, that's for sure. But yeah, it was sort of between the maybe 1 and 200 person venues to maybe up to 500 person venues at the time. Maybe some were a little slightly bigger. They've always done really well in Philadelphia, but I guess in 2004, trying to think of the biggest venue. I mean, it was like Knitting Factory in New York, which I think was around 300 people. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the big room was. Yeah, because remember they were like 3 rooms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that sounds about right. But for you getting, like, what was their decision of saying we want someone to come with us for that? And what was your reaction? And then again, because of all the things going on, I just think that wasn't really happening. If someone was on the road, it was like the tour manager did merch, everything. Like, it just, you know what I mean? Like, to have like this type of piece in that size. That's why I asked about the size of venues. What was the discussion?
I feel like, I'm trying to think. I think maybe the band was was handling the tour management at that point. It was very like, sound person was like the first, and we were taking turns doing merch. It was that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then pretty soon after, I think we probably, I'm trying to blank. I'm pretty sure it was yeah, probably the band and me the first tour, but I could be wrong on that. But yeah, I think it's interesting the way the first people that come onto their team, both in sort of the business world and then the live world. I think they had a booking agent before they had they didn't have management forever.
Wow.
So it was sort of, they went like booking agent. We're playing shows. They were always a hard touring band,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they just got to the point where, like, probably because you can run into such a nightmare with how sound people sometimes. I think some people can be very good, but then some people are just, this is just another night, another band, and get me out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, like you'd notice, like, if there was like a solo for like a guitar player, they would, like, halfway through the solo, then they would turn up the guitar.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and then I love that. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the thing, is the music has always been pretty intricate, and sometimes you don't know where the sounds are coming from. If you're new to the band and you haven't heard them, you're going to be a little bit confused.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the sound coming from? Who do I turn up? What is even happening? So I think having someone that knew what's coming out of everyone's amps was helpful.
How many? We're getting technical because I want to, and we're talking about the band, and then we'll also talk about the anniversary record. But how many different sounds were you dealing with each night? Like, what was the number that you had to mix?
Like the input list?
Yeah.
It surprisingly not as big as you'd think. Maybe it was between 4 and 7 mics for the drums, and then 1 or 2 for bass, and then a mic on each guitar, and then it was like keyboard and drum machine and 1 vocal. But still, because of the pedals and things, it was always kind of changing, and sometimes there were maybe 2 sounds coming out of 1 amp, and you might not know that if you weren't familiar.
Wow. But I love that I can visualize you rolling up and going, like, it's like, it wasn't the same day every day.
No. And admitting this now, I wasn't like a seasoned touring engineer. I'd done it once before for a band, and I'd done it at venues. But yeah, coming into a new room every day and figuring it out. Oh, and also I can't really see that well in the dark. I have a night vision issue. And
wow.
Venues, if something goes wrong and I have to replace a cable or mic on stage, that's basically my biggest nightmare.
That's amazing. So like they're trying to like get your attention, and they're just like, you're like, I can't see you guys. You need to turn off the strobe.
Well, luckily, if I'm looking straight ahead, I can see in the center of my vision. It's like a peripheral issue, but yeah, like going through a crowd is a nightmare.
Wow.
But luckily, they're lit up. I can from front of house, I can see the band, and I can keep an eye on if anyone's trying to get my attention, because sometimes you're mixing their monitors as well in those smaller venues.
Right. So
without being able to hear it really, because you're not on stage.
So for your senses, do you feel that vision one then, because of the deficiency, helped tune your other senses?
I mean, I imagine so. Yeah. I'm also colorblind as a separate issue.
Holy shit!
My eyes aren't. I was never going to become a visual artist or a graphic designer or anything.
The Air Force is not for you, Alex. You've already got
basically. I think my dad maybe failed the military test because of the same issue.
That's really funny. Yeah, no, they're like, hey man, I'm all ready for the Air Force. All right, are you colorblind? Yeah, shit.
Yeah, no.
And I can only see really, really straight. All right,
yeah.
Well, I don't know if you're going to do
well lit.
When it's well lit. So I don't know if you're going to do the Blue Angels. I don't think that's really going to be your thing.
As much as I like Top Gun, I was never going to become Maverick.
Goose. Yeah, or Goose. All right, so you've set the stage. You can't see, you can't hear. No, so you're able to do that, and I think really to hone in on that in that era does leave a lasting impact when you're able to do that, because like you said, most bands have the house guy doing it. He listens to a few songs and walks away and goes to the bar.
Yeah, that can be the experience. It can be pretty frustrating sometimes.
Yeah. So getting into the record, you were friends with them, you reconnected, and then joining this touring cycle, right? But I also, as we've spoken, and what I think when I was talking to David even about this, of like, Matt was doing, sound, that's kind of his background. So kind of jumping in this way, almost like the call up from the miners, or just from, or a trade, What was that? What was your thoughts or feelings kind of stepping into this unique role, which, it's like this, it wasn't just a keyboard player.
No, I began recording practices and things like that, and sort of feeling that, this audio thing needs to be done. Because also the band was DIY in other ways, like they would design their own shirts. They would, do things like that. So a lot of it was coming from within the band. So yeah, I feel like having someone that also did audio was helpful. And it's just a classic case of the right place at the right time with the right set of skills, which I could have never really predicted. I think I just knew that I wanted to be, I really enjoyed being around this band. I really liked their music, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So you joined when it was already out. Like, what was your process of like learning the songs?
Well, just real quick, if I can rewind just a tiny bit.
Go.
So for the recording, I did assist a bit on the recording of Menos el Oso.
Oh, fuck.
So because I was around, I'd done a tour as the live sound engineer, and I'd gotten to know Matt. I think it was sort of a natural next step for me to sort of be around helping in the studio a bit. And I remember Jake, they took a few months off to record at home. And I imagine if you've talked to some of them, they've told you, they did a round of basic tracking and then would take a couple months and do some home recording. It was sort of the dawn of like really good home converters and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember a couple times I would take the bus over to Jake's house and sort of help him track guitar because it's kind of a pain to play guitar and try to record and juggle that. So there was a few sessions at Jake's house, and then stuff like that. I sort of fly on the wall for the most part, but then there was a little bit of assisting and assistant engineer type style.
That's great. Did you feel you were like, it just seems like you were there, like you said, flying the wall, and then you said right place, right time.
Yeah. It's kind of wild. I mean, I was just excited every step. It was like, oh great, I get to go in the studio while this is being made. I mean, this is at this point, admittedly, one of my favorite bands. So yeah, it was just I moved to Seattle and I was doing it. It really felt unreal.
Yeah. So you knew the record, like what was it like filling the role or filling that piece separate when you're, front of house or you maybe in that mixing role? What about when you're handling those things live, filling the role?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Matt knew he was going to take off and he approached me as well. And luckily on the last tour Matt did, I was playing with an artist called Heather Doobie, and we got to open the last few shows as well. And they could see that I was singing background vocals with her. I was playing guitar with her, and I think that sort of just they were like, "Oh, this guy is around, and he can sing." We've never done the harmonies from the record live. Partially, maybe there wasn't always room for multiple vocal wedges. They just never got that far. I'm not saying Matt Bayless could never, wouldn't have, but they never got there. And this was sort of at the time a good place to start doing that. But yeah, I mean, I had heard all the songs live. I knew how they went, so it was a good balance of a challenge but doable. It was achievable, and yeah, it was kind of crazy. I mean, I'd played in bands before, and it was nice to sort of be on the side, because I think I would have freaked out otherwise. I mean, I'm not like a natural. I mean, I don't know how to say this accurately. Obviously, I play in bands. You want to play music for people. That's the goal. But this was a jump for sure.
Yeah.
It was a jump into what to me felt like this sort of level of indie rock fame, or whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely a step up, right? Again, if they've got this thing going, but I just love where you were just like there along the way.
Yeah. As far as I know, they didn't audition anyone else.
Well, you'll have to listen. I'm joking. No,
Yeah.
no one said anything. What was it? So I guess I feel like there was already the chemistry because they wouldn't have asked you. But what about when it's the tour and playing those songs over and over again? Like, what were some of those like feelings of? Was it like the first couple shows, like, oh my God, I can't do this, or I screwed this up, or I don't know. It just seems like you were like periphery, is that the word, to like everything, and then you were involved in certain ways, and then you're kind of thrown in.
Yeah. I think it was. I mean, there's always moments of being harsh with making a mistake or something, but I don't think that. I think it was a good balance of we rehearsed. There was enough time. Our first shows were, and strangely, my very first shows we went to Japan, but it was very small shows. Some shows it was like between maybe I want to say 30 and maybe 100 people at most.
Wow.
So it was almost like there was a good warm up period. So as much as I was probably nervous, you get to the third or fourth or fifth show, and it gets into your muscle memory, and you just start. It becomes more and more comfortable. So it was pretty quick that, strangely, something as drastic as that just becomes normal. And I don't know how quickly it did, but yeah, you start to be, I guess you start to feel like you can play these songs, and that's kind of what tour is. You're just kind of repeating the same thing over and over in a fun way, and then you can focus on the sort of performance element of it and the the crowd, and just having fun.
With your ear to the sound and then what was played on the record, were you trying to do that exactly? And how did that, were you able to separate yourself from the front of house of like, how does it sound out there, and focus on what you were doing? Or were you doing both?
Oh, no, I mean, you can't really hear what it sounds like out
No,
there
I'm just
from
saying, like,
stage.
in your mind, you're like, God, I wonder what it sounds out there. Oh my God, I'm just playing.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some sound checks where I would walk out front, but I don't know that. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I definitely think there was, part of me was thinking, oh, I hope that I would leave notes for other, if we would sorry, if we would work with a new sound engineer, I would liaison and say, hey, these are the songs where you're going to need to maybe ride Dave, because he's going to switch from tapping to big chords here, and these are the songs with drum machines. So I would sort of be leaving notes and trying to make their job easier, because I know how overwhelming it could be.
Right.
So I'm sure I was thinking about it on some level. Yeah, for sure.
I love that.
But I think that you kind of have to. I think 80-90% of my brain was don't mess this part up.
Right.
Don't mess this song up.
And then this is a little more nerdy, but I was watching a bunch of shows online. Pink Pop Festival in Holland is like uploading a bunch of like old shows and live sets. And I watched, and it's very interesting to try to figure out what bands bring over and what things they're renting, and then how to do, and then what, like and then listen. Like I don't know. Yesterday, me and my wife were like, let's watch this Soundgarden performance in '98. Let's watch it in 2012, and then those are both in Holland, and like we were just trying to figure out like what the difference was. And yes, it's outdoors, so we're gonna think a thing like that. But like I'm thinking, what are you bringing over? They got a different plug, right? Like what are you not bringing? And then how do you continue that consistency? And it popped in my head when you talked about like Japan, but it's almost like, anyway, do you get what I'm getting? You get what I mean?
Yeah. Well, for me, I have to be a little less picky. I mean, in Japan, they love those Roland, was it jazz chorus amps? Because they have them. They're littered with them there.
Littered.
So that was a fun amp to play through, but it's a different sound.
Right.
I was playing through an amp. There was like the Cube Roland amp. I mean, I kind of took over Matt's setup. He left me some very good notes. He was generous enough to like walk. He left me these recordings of songs with the MIDI in, so I could see. Oh, this is what the hand is actually doing. This is what the audio coming from it. Yeah,
that is so fucking rad to like have the like MIDI right there for you to know.
Yeah, so I wasn't starting from scratch, and he was very generous to like go through the catalog and do the most likely songs, not knowing that decades later we'd be doing full album tours, and I'd have to go and learn the deep cuts on my own.
Off of some fucking drive that doesn't even exist anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm doing now today. The technology keeps moving on just enough that the system breaks. If I touch anything, the system breaks. And sadly, I think I updated the old laptop because I was having an emergency with another computer, and so my system doesn't work. So up until 2018, it was a 2012 laptop that I had like put in an SSD in.
Yep. Hell yeah. Saved
then,
it.
I don't know what happened when I opened it this time. I use this software called Reason, or Matt did a lot of the songs on Menos el Oso use Reason sounds, and so I just kept it mostly the same, just because I like being able to use the exact sounds, and
Yeah.
it's a good system. Like it's a Nord synth, which allows you to switch Reason, it allows you to switch MIDI channels, which within Reason you can assign to different sounds. So you just hit a. Strangely, this is like the thing I haven't been able to find as easily done on anything else. There's an A, B, C, and D switch, and you can just have those as different MIDI channels, which allows you to play different sounds in the software.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept with that system. But anyway, as time progressed and we had a few tracks where we would, play back some extra things we weren't able to do live, the system kind of evolved. And so I was doing Ableton and Reason. So it's that link that's a bit broken now. So I'm converting it all within Ableton using the Reason Rack plugin, which is
my God,
fairly new thing. Anyway, that's way too far down the rabbit hole.
No, it's not. No. That, Alex, this is the problem. This is the rabbit hole. This is what we want. I just told you I watched different years of certain bands live and was wondering
your question.
Yeah, right. But no, please continue to go down those at all times. But yes, what do you bring? What happens when you show up?
Pedal boards first. Everyone has to bring their pedal boards because that is so proprietary that you can't really rebuild that. Especially the guitarists, they have these sample pedals. They're routed a certain way. They're laid out a certain way. Your muscle memory has to know them where they are.
Right. Okay.
So we're flying with probably between, I want to say 12 and 15 pieces of gigantic luggage. I mean,
wow.
And then we rent amps and drums and, sadly, a keyboard stand, which is never the same. So it's always a strange height when I'm playing it overseas somewhere, and you're trying to fit things on there. And then sometimes it's been used by hundreds of other bands, and those tightening knobs, they slip.
Then
your keyboard is diagonal for half a verse, and then you're fixing it.
Wow. Okay, so you're saying 14 to 15 pieces. You rent the amps, you're renting the keyboard, you're renting the stand.
Probably taking the keyboard itself.
Okay, so you are taking the keyboard.
Yeah.
Drums. What about cymbals?
Like Nord Electros, but Lead 2 is a little bit more niche.
Okay. What about cymbals?
I feel like the drummers would bring snare and cymbals and maybe a kick pedal.
Okay. And then you got to bring the axe. So everyone's got their axe.
Yeah, people are bringing their axes.
Not their X's, everybody. I said axes, not X's. Yep. That's different.
Exactly.
Okay, so everyone's their axes. So that's like 14 to 15 X, whatever things.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then eventually maybe our in-ear console that we can plug in, keep our mixes going. But that was later for sure.
And then what about if you said you're using MIDI, is your computer with you next to you, and then that whole setup?
That whole setup, I just plop the computer on my second tier pedal board, basically.
Got it. Wow. It was so interesting to kind of and then again, you said you're getting different amps, or you might have a different stand, or again, you change countries, or you travel to another place by plane, and then you're getting a whole new one.
Yeah, and we'll rent like bricks, power converters, those types of things, so that we don't blow our stuff up.
Right. And then, but trying to get the same sound every time.
Yeah. It's always maybe a little bit different, especially for guitar amps as well. They're very personal.
Yeah. I know for I always played with tubes before I sold it, and it's it's not the same. The way that it warms up, you leave it on, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you feel playing these again? I talked about it with David a little bit. We were joking about watching videos, trying to remember what he did.
Yeah, it was surprising. I'm a little bit of a procrastinator. So, I was getting ready, but it's kind of hard when I feel like with a guitar, you can sit around maybe not with the pedal specific stuff, but you can kind of just play. Okay, these are the parts. I didn't have a Nord keyboard in London. I was sort of just trying to, figure out how to practice before we got together. So a lot of it I was doing like
Wow.
kind of the couple days before we were together, and some I hadn't touched at all. And the muscle memory is still there. Strangely, it's very weird. I would just start and be like, oh, okay, this is kind of here. Admittedly, my parts are sometimes less intricate than some of the guitar parts, but um, yeah, it was surprisingly. There's maybe a few things that you just are drawing a blank on, and you have to go revisit. But a lot of it is still there, and it just started sounding pretty gelled pretty quickly. I mean, we've rehearsed. This is our third get together for rehearsal this year. We wanted to dust the cobwebs off early before we
Yeah.
announced the tour and everything.
Right. And then how have you felt? Like revisiting this record, reconnecting with everybody. You're in the basement at Dave's house. Like, how does it feel to be able to spend time with everybody? And when you splinter off, you're in different countries like you are.
Yeah.
How's that been?
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. I mean it's definitely not a given. I didn't assume. I know you were saying no band breaks up, but I wasn't sure. We weren't planning this for that long. It's definitely wasn't a given. So I feel very lucky, and not to sound cheesy, but it's a gift. I mean, it really is. It's everyone's had a chance to sort of decompress from any of the dramatic feelings that were maybe there before, and it's very chilled. We're just focusing on playing what is, I can say because I wasn't on it, I think it's an incredible record. We get to play it. That was one of my favorite tours, is when we did the 10-year anniversary tour for this album, and to get to revisit and make it sound hopefully even better this time is, yeah, it's I feel pretty lucky.
What
And
did
the
you
vibes
like?
are good. People are
Yeah,
getting along. It's
that's
yeah,
good.
it feels good.
What was so great about the 10-year?
Maybe I just like the record. I don't know. I really like playing an album. I think for me, I think just the idea of it from a fan's perspective, and because I was a fan of this band before I joined it, the idea of going to a show and kind of knowing for the most part what you're getting, at least for the first 10, 11 songs, but then you get to just, yeah, see the live version of it. And it sort of has a cohesive theme by default because it's an album. I don't know. I really like the idea of it.
I
So
think
yeah, doing the Oso tour, I think that was the first. Oh no, yeah, we did a Pirates one as well back in the day. But yeah, it was really fun.
I agree with you about the album one. People I think people sometimes it's obviously with there's not Friendster or Makeup Club anymore for like these comments are not like widely seen, but if you're going to like if you have a new record coming out, I'm assuming a lot of those jams are going to be done, and then you're going to play some old jams and you're going to miss it.
Yes.
So when there's a record, like for bands that I love, I almost want that first. Like when this record first came out, I would want to hear the whole record because I'd never heard those songs live, and then drop in the other songs. And I think, again, you have to keep people and you got to make sure everybody's happy. But I don't think it's played out. I think a lot of people are like, oh God, another anniversary. Well, I don't know. I've been playing this record in my car for how many years, and this is the
Yeah,
order.
exactly.
This is the
Yeah.
order that I listen to it in, and to watch that almost side A, side B feeling.
Oh, I mean, I just thought of it now, just like you have this sort of like bodily expectation of what's coming next from
You
the
sing
CD or
it.
from the album.
Right, you start humming it.
Yeah.
As soon as the other
And
song's
there's
over.
a certain way the songs interact, and just to then be actually anticipating that live, I just got a little like chill feeling.
Yeah.
Because especially, yeah, I mean, obviously, hopefully every band can continue and make better material. But at a certain point, people have an emotional connection to whichever album that they discovered at the right time, or whichever one was their favorite when they, had less responsibilities and they were obsessed with music in a way that we can't all remain for the rest of our lives. So yeah, they're going to want to hear that album, and this allows you to buy a concert ticket and know, yes, okay, this is going to be what I wanted.
Oh, totally.
basically.
Totally. Yeah. It's not just like you bought the ticket. Like, those motherfuckers didn't even play anything. Oh, yeah. And then you're
How did they not play this song? How did they not play it?
Yeah.
I mean, well, when you have however many albums and EPs, there's going to be some songs we can't get to.
Right. Oh, I love that. I just love the Trolls. It's great. It's awesome. And then, so you did talk earlier about Braid. Were you into emo? Were you into some of these bands? Did you call it indie rock, or were you like aversion to the word?
It's oh my God, I did something quite embarrassing before. So I was writing amateur album reviews as well. And like, when was this?
What zines? Zines? Which ones?
Well, it was because Santa Fe isn't that big of a town. I mean, I actually got these in the sort of, how the daily paper has a weekly art section.
100%.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then when I was a bit younger, I started in high school. There was like a Saturday one pager. It was like the teen page or whatever. So I was maybe wondering if I was going to go into journalism. I thankfully didn't. Well, not thankfully. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. But I was writing music reviews, and then I think I did something where I used emo in the wrong way, or I just was like, I described it from a very posery outsider kind of way, and some friends of mine called me on it. It was so funny.
What did you write?
And embarrassing.
Do you have it? Did you have it available to read?
Oh, probably, but I mean, it's probably in the storage space here, sadly.
All right, if you find it, send it to me. All right.
Okay. But
yes,
I think of that era of emo. I think the sort of when was Frame and Canvas? Late 90s.
Yeah, mid late 90s. Yeah. So what stuff were you into?
I was definitely into. Trying to think. Well, so at my college, we had weirdly in Miami, we had a really good college radio station that I sort of volunteer DJ'd at for a little bit.
Wait, what were the call letters?
Discover stuff in rotation.
What were the call letters for that station?
WVUM.
Oh, yes. I know that station.
They had a really good rotation. And so between my cooler friends discovering stuff back in New Mexico and that station, what was it? It was well, I'm having trouble. So my old band would open for Appleseed Cast very early on, and it was really into Braid, Promise Ring, maybe Get Up Kids, things like that. So I guess that sort of era of emo.
Yep. Welcome to the show. That's perfect.
Yeah. With My Chemical Romance reuniting and that being used for them, I'm a little bit confused how to use the word. So I call that mall emo. I don't know. I mean, it's really offensive, I'm sure.
No, it's fine. It's that's accepted at this show. No, it's fine. And I have no problem with any of this stuff. I just think they have enough promotion and mansions that they can deal with a little slack.
Yeah.
I think.
So what's funny is, so we're playing this Best Friends Forever festival, and in the UK, some of these bands are just not on people's radars, and maybe because, well, people are a little younger than me. Yeah, it's a very specific thing, obviously. So I show people this festival lineup. People know Jimmy Eat World, which is really funny, but nobody else.
Right.
I mean, festivals are pretty good at putting out lineups, but this is a very, very specific thing for a specific scene that is, I can't believe they're doing it on this scale, honestly. I mean, it's kind of amazing.
And then the lineup, you said it's very specific, and that's what
well, this is the funny thing. So obviously some of my friends in the UK also haven't heard of Minus the Bear, but I get to show them that we're co-headlining with Jimmy Eat World, which is like extreme bragging rights.
I love that. Do you see how big we are? Yeah, no, you do not need a magnifying glass.
I know you haven't heard of us, but check this out.
It's really awesome. Oh, I love that. Good. Do that. All right, here's the hard stuff. You have to describe everybody with one word. Okay?
Oh, no.
All right.
No.
So if you had to describe each other member of Minus the Bear and in just one word, what would that be and why? Now, I will allow a phrase, right? But it's okay if it's not just one word, but it could be a one word or a phrase and why. Okay? Are you ready?
No. Let's see.
I'm
God.
gonna name out the people and you just have to don't worry. You'll be fine. No one's gonna get mad. This isn't gonna break up the band.
I'm worried. I sometimes don't have a filter, so
That's fine.
let's try it.
Okay.
Let's try it.
All right.
Okay.
If you could describe each of the members and one word, what would that be and why? First up, Jake.
Oh my gosh. I would say dry humor
Dry humor.
or something like that.
Okay. And so because of their humor, right? Is that the why? They have great humor. Be able to break through.
Yeah, he's been secretly funny forever, and not everyone realizes it because his comments just sort of like happen, and then you actually think about it, and then you just keep thinking about it, and it's the funniest thing you've ever heard.
I like that. Those are my kind of jokes. Can I interject? Because it is kind of weird.
Yeah.
My dad today died 9 years ago. So,
Oh, wow.
So it's big, but you made me think of him. And because
Amazing.
we were at an Expos game and he went to go get a beer and, Labatt Blue, that beer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So there was, I guess, two options, Labatt Blue or Labatt 50. And he said, I'll just have one. And the guy didn't get it. And I got it. And he never gave that it was a joke.
Yeah.
And it was so fucking fun. That's it, right? That is the joke. Yeah.
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 Like dry was the other, or no, dry. Or
yeah.
Just
like
what is it called? What's it called when you're it's not straight faced, it's like stonewalled, or what is
I forget. It's something that Jimmy Fallon can't do.
Right. Yeah.
It's that. But yeah, my dad said it with a straight face and didn't let on that it was a joke. I just thought that was so good. So there's Jake. That is Jake.
Straight faced. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Next up, David.
Strangely, for me, the word David is so evocative that's almost just like David.
Do you want me to say Dave instead?
No, we do call him David. Sometimes.
Did it sound like I was pulling from a scripture or something? Like David?
No, it's like we gave everyone a middle name David at one point, just because how everyone has tour nicknames at some point.
Right.
And then my middle name is actually David as well, so everyone was called.
Wait a minute. How many people had the middle name David for the tour name? Just two?
Well, I mean, we would just everyone. We would just call we had a merch person named Amy. She became Amy David permanently.
This is really weird. I had a band where everyone else was named David, and so we called us
actually named David.
Correct. And so, but me, and I begged for us to be called the Daves, and it was the amount of V's for how many Daves were in the band.
Yeah,
didn't get far.
Oh yeah, perfect.
I thought that was really funny.
You're just giving gem ideas away, aren't you?
I thought it was great for SEO too, right?
Yeah.
No, it's 4 V's.
Yeah.
The Daves. Easy. Oh, and then there's you could do a backstory. I mean, anyway, all right. So everyone on the tour had the middle name David.
Yeah, I'm just stalling so I can think of something, but yes.
No, that's fine. I'll always have. That's really random that you said that. I've been waiting to tell people about that story.
Our old drummer Aaron also. His middle name was David. Is David. Sorry. I say was because I haven't talked to him in a long time. Sorry. This part probably shouldn't make it. But
your tour shirts should have the Daves. If you have a merch item for your tour people, your crew, it shouldn't be.
Oh, yeah.
It should be Dave's crew.
David. Oh, my God. I'm so bad at this game. I mean, this is kind of cheesy, but I'm gonna say the word drive because it starts with D. But also, so much of the time, he just has this momentum that was really crucial to the band.
I love that. That's great. Let me know how the merch idea goes in practice. Okay. Next up, Corey.
Corey.
Hometown buddy.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Que viva. This is a New Mexicoism.
Okay.
He also, I associate the phrase that he likes to keep everyone positive with keep going.
Cool.
And yeah, I'm gonna do like 3 or 4 for each person. So
That's
I know
fine.
It's not what you asked me.
No, there are no rules. I just tried to give some parameters. But it's super. I like that. I think it's perfect. All right, Matt.
Oh my gosh, Matt. See, he's kind of a secret sweetheart because he has such a hard ass image, or not image, but reputation from what he would say, breaking so many people's spirits in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a secret sweetheart.
I like that. Okay. You did great, Alex. You did great. All right, last question. So if you could send a little short message, this is a little cheesy, but I do think it's helpful, or I like it. If you could send a short message to your younger self when you're sort of in this moment with Minus the Bear, what piece of advice or encouragement would you offer yourself? So you just got asked to join, you're there, your older self came back and gave you some advice.
My advice would be basically what I'm telling myself now, because you don't know how fleeting it all is. Because in those 7 years after touring, you just look back and like, wow, that was, how long was it? I was playing keys for 12 and a half years with them. I was, obviously, 2018, 26. It just goes in a blink. So what I'm telling myself now and what I would tell myself back then is be as present as you can be and just enjoy it.
Love it. That's perfect, Alex.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to mention, or you think we hit everything? I think we hit everything.
Yeah. Nothing comes to mind.
Okay. Did you have fun?
Absolutely, Tom. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me.
Hell yeah. Okay, cool.
And having this.
This episode is brought to you by ESPN. Catch the first WWE Premium Live event on ESPN, WrestlePalooza, live on Saturday, September 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be an epic night in Indianapolis, featuring some of the biggest WWE superstars. This event is only on ESPN, so go to stream.espn.com and sign up to the ESPN app today for your all-access pass to WrestlePalooza and all WWE Premium Live events.